Greetings all you mages out there, I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and this is a video going out to the void of the internet. This is Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, Chapter 17, The Water Dragon God. Let's get into it, as we have our heroes all stuck in a tiny little boat, slowly making their way back to the residence of the water god dragon. However, as they begin their approach, they notice smoke from the city as it is being decimated by giant spirals of water. And as they do their best to rescue a few of the townspeople, namely the hotel manager from before, we come to find out that the one wreaking all this havoc is a Digimon, Seedramon! No, it's the Water God Dragon, but let's be honest, he looks like a friggin' Digimon. But still, it's a cool design, all things considered, and he is massive. Man, you thought like Acnologi or Igneo were big. This guy is huge. And he is just decimating this city, destroying everything and what have you. And they kind of wonder about this, because they were on the assumption that the Water God Dragon's powers had been stolen. But then Carmilla, the Water God Dragon's servant, Ward, yeah, let's go with Ward, kind of like that Batman Robin thing. She steps forward and says that it was her fault that the Water God Dragon is in such a state, as she was the one who asked Toka the White Witch to take the powers of the Water God Dragon. As he, in a flashback, had stated that at one point he would probably lose control of his powers and end up hurting someone around him. The various residents and people as he grew older. Camilla was very much against the idea of him dying to save them, but he says that ultimately if it meant saving Camilla and the people around him who he had done so much to help, then it would be worth it. One life in exchange for many others. But Camilla had heard about the white magic cult and its ability to erase magical powers. So she asked the White Witch to steal away the powers of the Water God Dragon. And she figured without his powers he would no longer be a threat and nothing would need to happen to him. However, she was unfortunately mistaken, as the White Witch's powers don't quite work that way. The abilities of the White Witch are kind of like a gauge on how the person is able to control their magical energy. The White Witch can either turn a person's magical levels to 0 or to their absolute maximum, causing them to wreak havoc and go completely out of control. So it's almost like they got this knob. It's just like, I can turn your powers to 11, or I can turn it down to nothing. Like you don't even have it. Which sets it about a dangerous precedent, all things considered, because the amount of control they now have, it's almost like it turns someone's magical abilities into a weapon. And as Toka awakens, confined within the Fairy Tale Guild, they start to kind of question, who's in control, Toka or the White Witch? And at the moment, it's Toka. And, they try to get her to explain, why come to Fairy Tale? Was it just simply for the fact that there's strong magical power there? But Toka says that she did in fact want to meet Natsu because she did actually admire her, but she also wanted to have someone use a separation spell in order to separate her consciousness from that of the White Witch. And that person is specifically, as far as I could tell, they're talking about Wendy, apparently. Who, Wendy is very adept at magical powers, like just general magical abilities. Wendy is literally the mage of all these mages, which is very ironic. But the White Witch takes back control of Toka's body in order to silence her, breaks free of the restraints as if they were nothing, and even mentions to the rest of the Fairy Tale Guild that, in a very ironic twist of fate, one of Toka's servants, who she has control over, is in the very presence of the enchanter Wendy. So now, the Water God Dragon is being directed to take down Wendy by whatever means necessary. And she declares that she will dye all the members of the Fairy Tale Guild in white, gaining full control over them. And with that, we cut back to Camilla, who asks Team Natsu to kill the Water God Dragon with their dragon slaying powers in order to keep him from doing any more damage to the people that he cares about. Which really is an interesting direction to take this in, because it's a more interesting angle for the drama and the mystery of these, white wizards and all that good stuff, their abilities and how dangerous they can be, honestly. Whereas the Diablos Guild, it was interesting enough, but with the abilities of the White Witch, sleepy boy. With the abilities of the White Witch, it really does just turn things on their head to the most part, because it's not just a I want to beat them kind of thing. There's a more interesting plan. There's a zealotry to these white wizards and witches and what they're able to do, what they're seeking out. Their wants and desires seem a little more ambitious and out there as a whole. And, it's just why I like the Toka stuff more than anything else. And I feel like that's where the real money is in terms of Mishima's writing. But hey, that's the end of the chapter. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you find this part more fascinating with Toka the White Witch, or did you prefer the whole showdown with the Diablos Guild and are interested in seeing them make a return? Because, this whole situation in and of itself, this is a whole story arc here, but how will the other various Pentadrakes be dealt with? What will their stories be? Will the White Witch only be contained to this one central story, or will we see them make returns over the course of the series? Lots of interesting questions as we get further and further into our dragon slaying mission. But if you liked what I had to say here, feel free to leave me a like, and if you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike and leave a comment telling me what I'm doing wrong so I might better myself for future videos. And until then, how about subscribing, because I'll definitely be bringing you more chapter reviews of Fairy Tale: The 100 Years Quest. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.